It feels like I say this every year, but it should be a holiday. Like opening day should definitely be a holiday, and I can't wait. I'm gonna wake up. There's gonna be like 15 games tomorrow, and I'm very excited. And yesterday was our AL preview, today NL, and then when we're done, we wake up tomorrow and we get to actually stop previewing stuff and watch games.
It is crazy. Like I am very excited to watch, and everybody's got a chance to win. Right now, we're all even. Other than the Mariners, we're going to win it all. Besides that,
True. AL preview is great because Rob, I think what ended up happening is Ali convinced us that the Mariners might have a legitimate shot at doing some big damage this year.
she 100% right. Like I actually ended that going. I love their starting rotation, and I got off the the uh, the, the video saying I might be underrating them. Like they're the best. So you did a great job convincing or bringing us to reality.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. I'm
It's
glad we
true.
can all agree on something here.
The
All right.
Astros
Well,
third. I don't know.
no, no, I know that was a rough game, but listen, there could be a world. You never know.
It happened.
Yeah, never say never. Um, all right. Well, let's do the same thing we did yesterday, starting like with the divisions, and I think we should start things off here with my favorite division in the National League. My favorite division in all of baseball, actually, the division that made a lot of noise in the offseason, and one that features three teams that are extremely fun to watch. I do think that this is a bit of a toss up, but obviously I have my pick here. So let's talk NL East. Ben, I'm going to give you the floor first.
NL East is going to be a wild division this year. I think there's three teams that legitimately have a shot. The top two of those, I still think the Braves and the Mets are a slight tick above where the Phillies are at, but the Phillies are going to rake this year, and they're going to be a lot of fun to watch. I don't know if they're quite as good as the Braves and the Mets, but they're going to be just as fun, if not more fun to watch because aside from their two aces they have, they're going to give up a lot of runs and they're going to score a lot of runs, which is always, well, as a hitter professionally, a lot of fun to watch. Pitching Ninja might not like that as much, but this division's interesting for me. This is, I think this one's a toss up down to the very, very end. I think the Mets and the Braves are going to go back and forth. And I do ultimately have the Mets pulling it out in the regular season. But, I mean, again, toss up there, I think.
Is this the toughest division, period? Like to pick a winner? I think this is very,
Yeah,
very tough.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Because I
I
don't want to sleep on the Phillies. Like it depends. Like the whole Painter situation is tough because like he's legit a stud, and I expect a lot out of him. But the injury is going to. I mean, that sets the Phillies back a little bit.
so does Reese. And, I think Hoskins being out for the year is difficult for them. They were already kind of in a place where they're offensively loaded. You can't really afford to deal with many injuries. Then Ranger Suarez, who's their number three guy, who knows? Like, hopefully it's not too long, but he's not going to be available to start the year. Reese Hoskins out for the year. So I don't know. I mean, we saw a few minutes ago Christian Pache was traded for. I don't know about you, but that doesn't put me over the top for them to win the NL East. But I agree with you, Ali. I think this division's probably going to be the most exciting one to watch.
Yeah. Like? So you're saying you said the Mets over the Braves, right? Is that what you're doing?
I have the Mets over the Braves in the regular season. Yeah, I think we'll talk more long term in a little while. But for the regular season, I think just the pitching depth of the Mets is just gonna. I think pitching depth throughout a regular season is huge, and they certainly have that. Not that the Braves don't with Freed and Spencer Strider, who I'm very high on. I wish I knew what was happening with Michael Soroka. I'm a huge fan of his, and I don't really know as we haven't known for like 2 or 3 years what's happening with him. So I hope he's back and healthy.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the Mets obviously with Scherzer and Senga, and they have another pitcher. I forgot who he is. The dude who, what's his name? The guy who won like an AL Cy Young last year.
Justin, Justin.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Is he in relation? I noticed the last.
Yeah, we're distant relatives. Yes.
No, me and Max Fried are like that too. Like, I'm Friedman, he's Fried.
Yeah. Just the more distant you get, the further the name.
Yeah.
No, like the Mets rotation, like adding Senga, who I expect a lot of, and we'll go into that later, but bringing a stud from, who has a ton of pro experience, who touched 99 in spring training. I'm expecting a lot out of him. Dude is a high value pitcher, and adding him, learning from Scherzer and Justin, having him alongside him, guiding him, I think is huge.
Yeah, I agree. That's a big reason he chose to sign with the Mets. Is he said he wanted to, Justin was a big part of the reason he signed there, which I think is really cool for him to say that. And it's always a tough transition, but we'll see. I'm excited to watch him.
Who's the ace of that team?
Who you asking, me or other people?
I'm asking Allie because I don't really care what you think because I know what you got to say. And I kind of like I don't. It's tough though between those two, between Max and the two first ballot Hall of Famers.
I say
You
Justin.
talking to me?
Yeah, Allie, what you got? Ace of the Mets.
I don't know. Ask Ben this question.
Ben's answer. I'm going to give Ben's answer, and I think he may be right. Like it's not even a thought-in answer. You can, I mean, defending Cy Young Award winner, first ballot Hall of Famer. You can definitely make the case that he's the best pitcher in the NL too. Like you could say that. Wouldn't hurt my feelings.
I have Justin. Shocker.
Yeah. I'll agree with it.
Yeah, I mean, I always Max is the most tweeted dude from my account in the history of my account. So I love Max Scherzer. I love Justin. I love Senga. I think those three are going to be really tough. It kills me. Edwin Diaz going down like broke my heart.
That was rough.
Is that true? Max is the most tweeted pitcher in your.
He is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who's second?
That's a good question. I don't remember. Um, I mean, lately I would say probably the most like the can't miss dude is every time Shohei's on the bump.
I was just gonna say it has to be Shohei.
In the last couple of years, because Max has been around as long as you've been doing this, Shohei hasn't. I would say in the last 2 years, it's got to be Shohei.
It is.
Yeah.
And I'm not drinking every time we say that, so I can say it as much as I want. But no, absolutely. Like I think objectively he's the filthiest pitcher in the major leagues. But going back to other Eastern Division folks, Spencer Strider won my award for the most electric pitcher in baseball, and I really think he is. And I'd ask the same question: who's the ace of the Braves?
My vote is Spencer Strider. I know Max Fried is. Yeah.
All over Spencer.
I get crap for that, so I agree with you. I have Strider as the ace over Fried, and everybody's like, "Man, what happened? Like, how do you diss him?" Like, Strider struck out what the all-time record for the fastest of 200 Ks for any starter, and was dominant. And had the best game. Yeah, like crazy.
Yeah. No, I love Spencer Strider, and we'll obviously get into Cy Young more, but he's who I'm going with there. So who are you taking in the National League? I mean, in the NL East, sorry.
Yeah, Rob, who are you? We know I have the Mets in the NL East in a toss-up for the regular season. Who's your division winner?
It's really close between the Mets and the Braves. And being in Atlanta, I have to pick the Braves. Like, it's just I have to. Yeah, like I'm with you. Like, but I love the
I
Mets
was gonna
pitching.
like your response.
Yeah.
I knew it.
And you can't go against it. Like, they're legit.
No.
I don't know how you differentiate those two.
Listen, I'm all over the Braves. Not only because they're my team, I don't want to sit here and sound like a homer, but there's reason behind it. I mean, 5-time reigning and defending division champs, and what they led the National League in home runs, the division in ERA last year. I think they have the deepest lineup in the National League. I'm sorry, in the NL East, but maybe you could argue in the National League too. And I'm also excited to see with additions like Sean Murphy and a fully healthy Acuna and Ozzy Albies, that's going to be killer, I think.
Huge.
I'm excited to see them run it back.
I think this year having, I don't think we got Ronald Acuna last year. I think we saw one year he came back probably, I don't want to say too soon, but he wasn't himself last year coming back from his injury. I think this year we'll get back to close to 40-40 Ronald Acuna, and that's not technically an addition to this lineup, but it is. Like, this guy's one of the best players in baseball when he's healthy, and hopefully now over a year removed from this injury, almost 2 years removed, we get him back.
You mentioned 40-40, and we didn't touch on this much yesterday, but the disengagement rules, the bigger bases, you're going to see more stolen bases, and 40-40 is absolutely doable for almost like anybody with legit speed. And Acuna does, like Acuna may be, I mean, we're talking about MVPs later, but it wouldn't be at all far-fetched to see him as the best player in the league.
I agree. Is that a little foreshadowing there? Is that?
A little bit. That's where I was.
Yeah, I agree. I had him the year he went down. I think I picked him to win the MVP. So hopefully he's at least back to that form, because he's one of the most exciting players in baseball. I know we haven't talked about them because, as we can see here on the FanDuel Sportsbook, the Marlins are plus 4,000 to win the division. But as a big pitching guy, Rob, the Marlins have to be an exciting team for you, certainly. And I think they're a little under. I mean, their offense is going to be a lot better. Pitching staff is electric. I don't hate them.
No, I was hoping someone would mention that, because I thought I was going out on a limb by saying they have a actually extremely good starting rotation. I think the Jesus Lizard, Jesus Luzardo, is in for a big year. I keep saying, like, he's got legit dominant stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if he has a monster year alongside Sandy, and then Edwin Cabrera is a stud. Braxton Garrett won me a ton of, like, during the season, strikeout props. He was just king everybody. I don't know how much he'll start this year, but that dude was like my ace in the hole. I always pick him to go over it.
Yeah, and then Luis Ariz, batting title guy, coming in, and the guy he'd never had a multi-home run game in his entire career. He did it in the World Baseball Classic in the stadium he's going to be playing in, which matters. I think, he's obviously comfortable in that stadium. I think he's going to be a big addition to that lineup. Very, very, very tough division for them to be in, but I think they could make some noise at least.
Yeah, and we didn't touch on the kind of the Braves young guys too. So the Braves have two guys they're giving a shot, like Dylan Dodd and Jared Schuster, who Schuster has, like, blown the doors off folks in the spring, and he looks totally legit.
Yep, I agree. I wonder what.
Sorry, go ahead, Ben.
No, I was gonna look at their to make the playoff odds in this division. Braves are at minus 650 to make the playoffs.
That's because they are going to make playoffs. They're going to win the NL East, and they're going to win the World Series.
Oh,
Now she's going to convince us all the Braves are going to win the World
Yeah.
Series, which I'm in on. That's perfectly cool.
Listen, I'm like the worst during the baseball season with the Braves. Like, my favorite thing to do is bet the Braves first 5-run line. Like, that is my favorite bet of all time. And yeah, you'll hear a lot about the Braves from me this season.
Does Strider have a sophomore jinx thing going, or is he going to be as dominant this year? I have him as one of my top 10 pitchers in the major leagues. So.
Yes.
well, we'll talk about
We'll get into that.
We'll talk about Cy Young in a little while, but I got a lot to say about him.
Okay. Should we move on to the NL Central?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I feel like for some reason people are pretending that the Brewers have a chance to keep up with the Cardinals here. Listen, I believe the Cardinals are a bit undervalued, but I do have an underdog pick in this division. So Rob, why don't you start us off here?
Are you going to say the Cubs? Is that where we're going here? Like, I don't disagree. If you're going to do that, I think if they have some underrated pitching, I am not as high on the Cardinals, only because I question their starting pitching. I just don't.
Yeah, you're a pitching guy. Of course you're not high on the Cardinals.
It's gonna be tough. you added Peralta. I mean, I can go to battle with that. And Devin Williams in the bullpen. I have a hard time with the Cards other than their bullpen. Like Helsley's a stud. I'd like to see Jordan Hicks have a big year. I think this division's up in the air, and I agree. I think the Cubs are underrated.
Yes, yes. I mean, I think you have Dansby Swanson, who was a huge
Yeah.
addition for a team they were starved for bats, and then adding him to pair up with Nico Horner in the middle, it was a huge move. And I also feel a Cody Bellinger revival coming this year.
Please, that'd be awesome.
Yes. Um, I don't know. I think they're one bat away from being a true contender, but at the same time, I think they're good enough to play 500 ball, and I'm glad to hear that you're on them as well.
Oh, totally. I mean, like Wisniewski is an absolute stud, and I think people are going to recognize that. Steele was really good, and occasionally will K a ton of folks. Stroh's my dude. Like Stroh and I go back a long way, and I think he's a good leader of that team. I think that they have a shot. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. No, I'm really relieved to hear you say that. I didn't expect
No,
that.
we're on like exactly. You didn't even have to convince me like the Mariners.
Look at
yesterday.
I like that we're on the same page today.
We are.
I don't feel
Ben,
like.
let me guess. You're going with the Cardinals.
Whoa, Ali. One, yes. But two, what I was going to say is if you like the Cubs, I don't know if they're going to win the division, but what I wouldn't hate looking at is their win total here is 76.5.
Yeah,
I have the over there.
I definitely like the over there of 7. I think this team I think the way they are right now, they're a 500 baseball team, and 500 gets you into contention that last, month of the year with the extra playoff team. Look, I think 76.5 is really low.
I agree with you, and I think, I didn't mention Tyone too, who has been like an absolute stud. He added that sweeper, and he's another guy that could have a big year. I think that's a value pick. I agree with you.
Let's go, Rob. I want to hear you talk about the Cubs rotation real quick because there's some names in there: Justin Steele, Hayden,
Wisniewski.
Taillon.
Yeah.
I mean, Stroman is the name that we all know, but there's some guys with really good stuff that could surprise some people this year, right?
Yeah, I mean, Wisniewski is legit one of the filthiest guys in baseball. His slider sweeper is filthy. He hit 97 in the spring. I like him. He's a competitor. I think he's a big dude for that team. Steele, same way. And Keegan Thompson's low-key good. Drew Smiley is a solid veteran. Like, they have pitchers, and I think people are sleeping on them so much.
Yep, I agree. I was saying when I did off-season grades earlier this off-season, and I gave the Cubs an A. It was like one of the top 3 best off-seasons, and to me, that doesn't mean that they're going to win the World Series. It just means of everybody, like, who improved more than they improved. And I think there's a conversation we had yesterday. I think the Angels have vastly improved. I think the Cubs had perhaps the best offseason there was. I mean, building a team starts up the middle. And you look at Dansby Swanson, Nico Horner, Gold Glovers, Cody Bellinger in center field, Gold Glove caliber guy out there. That they've built this core that already is pretty solid. And I think we're undervaluing the Cubs. Obviously, we're all in agreement here. Shocker, Ali got us on that train once again. But yeah, I don't.
We're just following.
I don't see this team being a 76 win team. I just don't. I think their pitching is better. I think at the end of this year, we're talking about Justin Steele and Hayden. How do you say his last name, Rob? Wisniewski. And Taillon a lot more than we have been so far.
So do you view, like, I view the Cardinals as a thin staff that is, I have a lot of question marks. Like, they could be really good. They could also not be. And that's where I see the difference. I can see, it wouldn't surprise me to see the Cubs overtake them, but I also wouldn't surprise me to see the Cards
have kind of get everything they can out of that rotation. I do worry about that though for them.
I'm gonna go look at the Cardinals win total. So the Cubs is at 76.5. This has the Cardinals 12 games better than the Cubs at 80,
Wow.
88 and a half
that's
wins.
true.
That's a
Yeah.
lot.
I think that's a lot
also,
too.
Ben, you said 76 and a half. The Cubs had, I just looked up, they had 74 wins last year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They're better than that.
They're way
They
better
just
than they
are.
were last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Okay. We're all in agreement here.
Yeah.
Which means
Chicago
it's not
Cubs.
gonna happen.
Chicago Cubs over 76 and a half wins.
Mhm.
I got that.
And Rob and I, Chicago Cubs winning the NL Central.
They could very well do that. Like I'm a little nervous.
Okay.
Like
So I
with
can't speak for you.
no, you can. Like I think
Okay.
that's fair. I think they can do that. I'm not sure I'm there to pick it, but I am a little nervous on the Brewers have pitching, no doubt.
Mhm.
Burns is obviously not happy, and I worry about him pressing a little much. He also could be the best pitcher in the NL, and he probably, you could definitely make that argument. But I also worry that he presses to try to make a point and maybe doesn't follow it up as well. So the Cubs could win the division.
I would also add about the Brewers. Again, I'm higher on the Cardinals than you guys. I think the lineup is by far the best in that division.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And the pitching isn't great, but I'm a little, like Montgomery, well in spring, really good when he got to the Cardinals last year. Michaelis, who knows with Jack Flaherty? I hope he's back and healthy, but not super good signs of that in spring training. I'm higher on the Cardinals than most, but the Brewers, to your point, obviously the pitching is there, but why? I feel like everybody wrote off Jesse Winker after one down year, and now he's been hitting well in spring training with the Brewers. Like, we can talk about their lineup, but if Jesse Winker is the Jesse Winker that we saw a couple of years in a row prior to his stint in Seattle, then this lineup all of a sudden gets much deeper with two big lefty bats and him and Yelich, which is also another question mark. They just have a lot of question marks, which is my concern. But if any of those question marks turn around, Winker, Yelich, then we could be Voit. Voigt's another big question mark, but this team, they are good.
So, but to that point, we have question marks on both the two favorites, right? Like we have question marks. I have question marks on the Cardinals pitching. We have question marks on the Brewers offense. If you have those question marks, why not roll the dice, right?
Well, I would say where I don't have question marks is with the front office of the Cardinals over the front office of the Brewers.
Yeah,
And come
that's a
trade
good point.
deadline time, last year the Brewers were right there in first place in the division, and they got worse and gave away their closer, who's the best closer, not named Edwin Diaz, in baseball, and they didn't add to their offense, which was their big problem, whereas the Cardinals needed pitching, and they went out and got it. So, I think this is going to be a tight division, and I trust the Cardinals to do more down the stretch if they need to improve than I do the Brewers, who don't seem to really want to add around the team. You got what you got, and we're going to focus with that. And I don't love that about them.
I felt like that it was deflating too. Like I felt like you felt that in the fan base getting rid of Hader. It just felt that way. Like it was like you have a shot and you're just not that Devin Williams is my dude, stud, but it was nice having two guys back.
I've never seen a reaction in a locker room like I did from the Brewers. You mentioned the fans. Players in the locker room were visibly upset and shaken by that trade, and that was the demise of their season, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously they ended up blowing it down the stretch and not being very good. And is that all like Josh Hader's fault? No, obviously not. But that did something to the locker room, and they continue to do things that just frustrate me and players. Corbin Burns this offseason over $750,000. Like, I don't believe that the Brewers organization, and this is getting really into the weeds on who's going to win the division, but I believe in the Cardinals' willingness to do what's right to win in the moment than I do the Brewers.
Yeah, I agree with. And to me, baseball becomes this weird game where you're taking an absolute stud like Corbin Burns, who you want to be totally bought in, over $750,000. Just give the man, like, are you telling me he's not worth that? Like, it's Corbin Burns.
They blamed him for not making the playoffs. That is
Corbin Burns.
baffling.
Like, it's Corbin freaking Burns.
Yeah.
That breaks my mind. Like, to me, if you're arguing over that little money, just give the dude it and suck it up, Buttercup, and get Burns bought in. Burns and Woodruff are studs. You have those two guys all totally psyched up the pitch. That's one thing. But now creating this drama, which you created last year, doesn't make any sense.
Yep, I agree.
All right.
We should own a team. Let's all own a team.
What team?
Own a team?
Yeah. Like, just don't tell anybody. We're going to buy a team. Nobody knows this. We're just going to do it. We got all the answers. I'm feeling it.
You know what team I want to own? The Arizona Diamondbacks, because that's the division we're talking about next, and that's the team I believe in. Not to win the division, but they're heading in the right direction. We'll talk about them in a minute.
Okay.
But NL West.
Are you ready to go into the NL West here?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
unless we want to talk Pirates or Reds. Rob might want to talk Reds with
I love the so
Oh, okay.
don't, like, people don't tune out on the Reds. Like, the Hunter Green is in for a big year, and I'm not the only guy to say it. Obviously, other people saw it too. But he, after struggling at first, was dominant towards the end of the season. Dude throws, 103 will play. He's got a nasty slider. I know he's working on his changeup. He is meant to be a star. He will be a star. Love the dude. And Nick Lodolo is as nasty as there is. And, he's also a very filthy dude. And Graham Ashcraft is another young pitcher who throws absolute heat. So that team has some promise. Stick with them.
When you say stick with them, I mean,
yeah, it's very admirable.
I'm trying, guys. Like, I don't want people, if you're a Reds fan watching, you have that to look forward to, right?
Rob, even the front office last year said to the fans, "Where are you gonna go?" Like,
Oh my God, I was just bringing that up, Ben.
it's so aggravating. Like, I'm with you. There's some guys that are gonna be fun to watch. Hunter Green leading the charge there, but man,
I'm saying for me, it's going to be fun. Like, I like these guys.
Okay.
true. You're gonna get a lot of content out of the Reds.
I am. Just like my Marlins, too.
Yep.
All right. Anyways, let's move on to the NL West here. I personally think that last year's playoff season was the changing of the guards in this division. I am all over the Padres this year. If it's not going to be the Braves, I hope it's the Padres.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, not in this division. I mean, in the NL in general, obviously. But yeah, I'm all over the Padres.
There's no doubt in my mind that the Padres are by far the better lineup. I was watching the exhibition between the Dodgers and the Angels last night. The Dodgers lineup, aside from Mookie and Freddie and Will Smith, has some legitimate issues. And by far the Padres are the better lineup. I'm a big fan of their rotation with obviously the names we know, Darvish, Snell, and Musgrove. I think Nick Martinez is going to be really good this year. I think on paper, their team is definitely better. I think we can all agree there. The problem with the Padres the last couple of years has been getting over the hump of performing better than performing up to their capability. And we talked about this a little bit yesterday with the Padres, even though we were doing the American League, is they're a team that hasn't lived up to the hype yet. And I almost feel like that playoff series against the Dodgers last year is going to be able to be the changing of the guard for them in the NL West. They had a big Dodgers problem. The Dodgers were the Padres' Padre. Yeah, that works. And
nice.
And I think they got over that hump. I really do. And I think this year we're looking at a team, and if we go back to look at the odds, The Dodgers are still the favorite, and that's simply because they're the Dodgers and they've been winning the division a lot in years past. The Padres are the better team, and I don't think there's any way around that.
I mean, the
totally
Dodgers
agree.
had a 90-win floor for a decade.
Yeah.
Like that's a long time.
Yeah, I agree. I wonder their win totals this year. I want to see. Let's check those out. Win totals.
They're in the 90s.
Where's the Dodgers? Los Angeles Dodgers, 96.5 is what they're at. And the Padres are at 93.5. So they have basically a 3-game difference. And I don't agree with that. I think the Padres are definitely the better team. I think the Dodgers took a big step back. They lost Trey Turner. They didn't add a shortstop. They got bit by not adding a shortstop when they decided to, and I don't blame this. They went in and believed in Gavin Lux. And unfortunately what happened with him being out for the year now, but it really leaves them in a tough place depth-wise. If they accrue any injuries this year, they're really going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I agree. I have a lot betting on like Dustin May to have a big year. I think he's also got perhaps just the natural jump off the page stuff of anybody in the NL. But he's got to put it together for a full year.
Where are you at with Dustin May? Good hair or bad hair?
I love his hair. Like, I think it's great hair. I think he's got hops. You watch him jump on the mound. He is a guy you can't take your eye off.
He's an athlete.
He is an athlete, and pitchers are athletes. Doggone it.
So
Was that even a question?
It is.
Yeah. It was.
It's a
Like,
baseball.
people do
It's a
make this
baseball. Us position players do not consider pitchers athletes. In a locker room, it's very much so. Like when we go out to stretch or get ready for a game, it's like athletes this way, pitchers over there. Like it's definitely a thing that pitchers aren't athletes.
Absolutely. But
Rough.
Right. Hey, so what do you think about? I think Blake Snell is terminally. He's like forever underrated to me. I have his stuff as being top notch when he's on. It's just being consistent for him, but his stuff is unhittable when he's on.
Well, I what he did in the second half of the year last year, like I feel like he got to San Diego. It took him a little while to get acclimated, and then last year he came in with, again, like, what is Blake Snell going to be? And he really struggled to find the zone a lot, but once he figured it out, and he was good playoffs, good in the second half. I mean, we're talking about a lefty that throws 100 with nasty curveball, nasty slider. I mean, and we don't really talk about, like, to your point, we don't really talk about it. And I think because of the question mark of like, what Blake Snell are you going to get? The stuff is going to be there, and he's nasty.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I feel like every time he is underrated by fans at how good his stuff is.
Rob, where do you when I mentioned Nick Martinez a little while ago, and I saw you like shaking your head. How do you feel? You're all in on Nick Martinez as well? Big year coming?
I think he's totally legit. Yeah, I absolutely am in on him.
Yeah.
I like that rotation a lot, and I think that it surprises me that there'd be more money on the Dodgers, other than the fact the Dodgers always win.
Where are the Dodgers better than the Padres? Lineup, pitching rotation? I would argue no for both of those.
No.
Well,
No. They have some depth in their bullpen, but I'm not saying the Padres don't either.
I don't see a lane where the Dodgers are a playoff team, right? They're gonna win, I think, around 90 to 95 games in that area. They're good, and I think that division will be a battle the whole way through. I think the Padres are one of the best teams in baseball, clearly, and I don't see a lane where the Dodgers are a better team. And then they got over the hump of not being able to beat the Dodgers. So then you have all that. You finally have confidence. You have a better pitching rotation. You definitely have a better offense. You have the better closer. I don't know. I definitely like the Padres here.
I think the question is, are you going to get the hater that you saw towards the end of the season, which you should expect to get. Like that is who Hader is, or the Hader you saw in the first part of the season where it was kind of all over the place. I think that the Hader's been so good for this stretch of time that anybody that doubts that dude is just wrong. Like he's a stud.
Well, if you remember, it wasn't even the first half of the season. At the beginning of the year, a couple of months, the first 2 months of the year, there was legitimate discussion about like a Cy Young closer again, right?
Yeah.
That's how good he was. And then he went through one of the most strange stretches, not yips related, that I've ever seen a pitcher hit. It really was wild. And then he got back to it, was good at the end of the year, good in the playoffs. And I have no reason, like you said, to believe we're not going to get dominant Josh Hader again.
Yeah, and I had some inside scoop that it was just purely a very minor mechanical tweak that he did, which created him back to being unhittable, Josh Hader. And I would expect unhittable Josh Hader this year. That dude is money.
All right. Yep, I agree.
So we're all in agreement in the NL.
I think we are.
Yeah. Wow. One division. All right. I'll take it.
Yep, I think we are as well.
All right. Well, we talked all three divisions. Now let's talk National League winners.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's just check this out. Let me look at the odds.
All right, I'm going to pull up the odds here. National League champions. Braves and Dodgers are the two favorites here, plus 380 for both of them. Padres plus 500, Mets plus 500, Phillies plus 750, and then a bit of a drop off after that with Cardinals and Brewers.
Well, Ben, who's your pick?
My NL champion is the Atlanta Braves. I think offensively,
Are you saying that?
Ronald Acuna Jr. this year, I think we get him back. I think Austin Riley's everywhere you look with this team, right? You have Michael Harris the second out in the outfield now.
Spud.
And then their starting rotation is dominant. And then I was really looking at their bullpen the other day, and it's really, I think, going to be a very underrated part of their game. They got Nick Anderson in that bullpen now. AJ Minter will be a big part of it. And then Raisel Iglesias, who, when he came over to the Braves last year, was a top 3-4 closer in the game of baseball once he got there. Though he wasn't closing. It was mostly eighth inning. But top 3-4 reliever in the game of baseball. Now he's going to be that closer. I think the Atlanta Braves are as complete of a team as it gets, and they are my NL champion.
Did nobody pay attention? Like, I thought the same thing when Iglesias came over. I was like, that is a huge get for the Braves. And I felt like nobody paid attention to that other than, like, I felt I was beating that drum. And I totally agree with you. Like, I love that dude.
Yep, I agree.
I do too. I
Yeah.
like Minter too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big AJ.
Update. Ali likes every Braves player.
I love the Atlanta Braves. Like, I would die for that team.
Are they your NL champion pick?
Yes, Ben. They are my NL champion pick, along with my World Series pick.
Ooh.
I think they are
Wow.
the World Series.
So now we have to agree because you're never wrong. Like,
I know.
Rob, what about you?
Listen.
Who do you like here?
It's tough. Like, I can make an argument for the Mets. I can make an argument for the Padres, but I'm in Atlanta, and
We're all going Braves?
Wow, look at us.
That means it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
No, don't say that. You're not allowed to say that here.
I know.
Listen, we know the Mets are gonna Met. Sorry, no offense.
Whoa.
Wow.
There's a new pitcher in town, all right? And I think
There
the
are
Mets...
two new pitchers in town. Put some respect on Kodai's name.
I'm sorry. I think the Braves all around are better. They have power all throughout their lineup, a stellar pitching staff like we've been beating.
Yeah.
I don't need to make my case. I already made it, but
A Strider for the full year doing Spencer Strider stuff. He is just dominant.
Yeah.
Like, so much fun to watch.
I agree. Let's before all of us are on the Braves.
This is sad.
which
We
is
can't
wild.
do that.
So
yes,
let's
we can.
All right, we can. We're not going to go to Cubs. Like, we're not saying like miracle season Cubs.
No, we need to be realistic here.
Okay.
Before
Right,
we
right.
finish up, I want to talk about the Cy Young because we've mentioned a lot about Spencer Strider, and I have the odds up right here.
Don't tell me you're on Spencer's.
My NL Cy Young winner is Spencer Strider, and he has the fifth best odds at plus 1,000 to win the award. Last year, he became the fastest pitcher in history to 200 strikeouts in a season, passing Randy Johnson, and I feel like we're just not talking about that.
I tried to talk about as much as anybody would listen. I totally agree with you. Like it was people are talking. I mean, granted, Framber was fantastic. Like I heard that. Like, why are you picking Strider over like Strider all-time history of baseball, the fastest starter 200 Ks, and that is a big deal. And he also threw the best game last year with 16 Ks and was just lights out. And that's him. Like, I think he's going to continue to get better, working a little bit on a changeup. Not that he needs it. It's tough though, because I also think you can make a case for Burns, obviously, who's always there. I do worry about the contract stuff.
But I think that goes one way or another. He either uses that to fuel him or he uses it to do too much, which they're both possibilities.
Yeah. And what about, like, I like the idea of Scherzer with the pitch clock, with his gamesmanship. To me, it's one of the things of all the pitchers in baseball, I see the pitch clock helping him because he views this as a challenge and as a game and will use that to his advantage. So it wouldn't surprise me to see him have a really good year this year. Not that, obviously it's Max Scherzer. He's going to have a good year every year, but this may be a uniquely, plus he's pitching alongside that other dude who's a Cy Young Award winner in the American League.
Yeah.
And he may just want to prove himself. Like, just say, I'm the big dog here. Max is competitive. The other guy's competitive too. It may bring out the best in both of them.
I think it's going to bring out, they're both the most competitive people you'll find. And I think them being on the same team, going back and forth all year long on the all-time strikeout list, passing people together, passing each other every time they start. I think we're in for a treat with those two guys leading that rotation. We're going to see something special for sure.
So one thing, I remember this quote where I think it was Justin who said, even walking down the street, I have to be first. Like, I feel like it's always a competition, everything, even if I don't say it, I'm competing. Was he like that?
Oh, yeah. He's like that my whole childhood. I'm 9 years younger, and I could never win at anything. And the one time I finally won in something, I remember like it was yesterday. I beat him in a video game, and he said to me, he looked at me and said, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. And I didn't know what that meant. So I went and asked my parents, and they told me, and then I started crying. And to this day, it's really upset me that Justin said that. And he's so competitive that he did not like that I beat him in a video game. And he's always been that competitive. And that's forever been a thing. And that's why I will take it with me to the grave that I'm 1 for 1 with a homer off of my brother in my career. So that's the ultimate win.
So you don't even need a group hug here. You've gotten over that. Like, you own him now. Like, yeah.
I got over it. Our whole life we would talk about when we're both playing professional baseball, I'm going to hit a home run off of you. And Justin would say, no, I'm going to drill you in the ribs. So it was like this whole thing our whole life. And then turns out we're both playing professional baseball, a little bit different, but I did play professional baseball and got one at bat off of him. First pitch I saw, hit a homer, touched home, ran back to my field, and have never faced him again.
Does that ever come up, like, at family gatherings? Like, you would never bring that up, like at Thanksgiving or something.
Oh, I bring it up all the time, and so do other people.
Hell yeah, you do.
So do other people. Too. It's great.
Yeah. I hope he's watching.
There's a chance he watches a lot of my stuff. He's a great older brother, and I think him and Max this year are going to do special things in New York.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Do we have MVP picks too? Are we going to do that?
Yes, I think we need to talk about MVP
Scroll
picks.
down here.
Okay, so I have a case for two guys for MVP, and I want to see if either of you bring them up.
Does it rhyme with Ronald Acuna Jr.?
No, and I really like that, but I wasn't gonna come out and pick two Braves players. I tried, so one of them is a Braves player though.
Austin Riley.
Yes. I love Austin Riley.
He's hard not to like.
I
Like
know.
he's a stud.
I just had literally last week. I just had Austin Riley on
I saw
my
that.
podcast. And
Good interview.
I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan of his. I mean, the guy is as hard of a worker as you'll find. He just is going to continue to get better. I like that a lot.
So, are you on?
No, I'm on Juan Soto.
Okay.
I'm going
Oh,
Acuna.
well, that's a good one too. Okay.
I know Soto's the favorite here, but
Yeah.
before last year, we were talking about Juan Soto as being the best hitter in the game of baseball. And at 23 years old at the time, heading into last year, passing Ted Williams in certain categories and saying this guy could ultimately end up being one of the greatest hitters of all time. Then he had one down year by his standards. And then he shows up in the WBC and spring training and hits 800 with a bunch of bombs. Like, this guy's about to go off this year. Finally has himself a place that he knows he's going to play all year. Started the year last year in Washington, which I don't care what anybody says. Starting a year when you're trying to win an MVP with a team that you just know isn't going to be very good is a difficult situation to be in. He's on a good team. RBI opportunities will be there every single at bat, most likely. I think he goes off this year.
This is the first time we mentioned Washington, and it was in a diss track. Yeah, I agree. I don't doubt. Like, as a pitching guy, watching his at bats, they're brilliant. Like, his knowledge of the strike zone is better than any umpire. He is in control of every at bat he takes, even when he's not doing well. So, like, that's a good pick. I like Acuna. He's just you can't take your eyes off that dude when he's playing.
Yep, I like that too.
I also had Trey Turner in the mix.
Ooh.
Oh well, yeah, Mr. Stud, All-American.
Hard to not go with that with the way he's playing right now.
The WBC kind of like swayed me. I was all in on Austin Riley, and then I was like, crap, maybe I should make a case for Trey Turner as well. So I wouldn't be upset if either one of them won or Ronald Acuna Jr., but
Turner was so much fun to watch in that too.
He was
so fun. And I'm like anti-Phillies. I went to the NLDS series last year in a Brave shirt, and I'm still like recovering from the trauma that I endured.
Yeah, they're tough fans. They're tough.
Well,
what about Rookie of the Year? I know Ben is all in on Carroll.
Corbin Carroll for me.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like it's not a good thing that I'm on a lot of the same things as you, because he is my rookie. It could be like jinxing that he's my Rookie of the Year as well.
I'm going Kodai Senga, so that is my pick.
The odds are up here now. Corbin Carroll is the favorite. Jordan Walker right behind. Kodai Senga plus 800. Look, I'm the conductor of the Corbin Carroll bandwagon. I'm all in on this guy, and he has every single tool imaginable. He is my comparison for him is Jacoby Ellsbury. I mean, he will be the fastest guy in baseball this year. He's shown in 100 at bats last year. He hit 4 homers. I mean, I think we're about to see a pretty special year from him.
Yeah, I'm going Senga just because of his professional experience, and I think being alongside 2 first ballot Hall of Famers to help guide him is almost an unfair advantage with his stuff. I mean, again, touching 99, the ghost fork, good degree of confidence and a lot of experience, and able to pick the brain of 2 studs. I think not that, long term, I'm with you. I worry about the bumps that you get as a rookie, and I think that his experience might push him over.
Yeah. Ali, where are you at? You're Corbin Carroll?
I am as well. I know a lot of the bets have come in on Jordan Walker as well, but I'm on Corbin Carroll with you.
So I live in Decatur, and he went to Decatur High School, Jordan Walker.
Oh, wow.
He's right down the road. Yeah, so
cool.
It's hard not to like the dude.
Did you ever see him play in high school?
I am trying to remember, because I'm sure he played when I coached. Like I was a pitching coach for a high school team. We played them regularly. So I'm trying to remember. I'm going to ask my son if we played them.
I feel like
I'm
you'd
assuming
remember
he
the 6'6"
But
or
he's
7
probably like
guy.
a freshman at the time. So we were like playing, and it was really young, just like our team played Drew Jones as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he was okay.
he's all right.
Yeah, we got a lot of good folks down here in Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia's a hotbed for talent, that's for sure.
Are. Yep.
They also are. Never mind. I'm not even gonna make the comment again.
What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say something. They also like to, the Braves. I was just gonna tell the Braves again. But...
Ninja, I don't know if you've heard, Allie's a big Braves fan.
Good for her. She should be. Like it's a fun. They're very like
They
you
are
can't hate
so
the
much
Braves,
fun.
right? They're a fun
so
team.
much fun. I love watching, and I had them winning the World Series. So 2021, 22, and this year too.
Yeah.
We obviously saw them win it in 21. They were close last year, and they're gonna come back this year.
And Snit is such a good manager too.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Ben, if you have them winning the National League, do you have them winning the World Series or no?
I do not. I have the Astros over the Braves in 7 is my prediction.
Wow.
Okay.
Going
So
down
you're
the
on the
games.
Astros.
Yeah. Astros over Braves. Rematch of 2021. Little different result, but yeah, that's my prediction.
Yeah, that's so tough. Like, obviously, I mean, that could very well happen. I don't know about 7. I'd like to see the Braves win it again anyway, but
Yeah.
I have the Braves Yankees with the Braves winning.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we just previewed
Dude, we
the
killed it.
National-
I don't care. Anybody that disagrees with us, they're just wrong.
Yeah. Complete
Well,
agreement.
hopefully
Yeah.
us agreeing on a lot of this isn't bad luck.
Oh, it is. We're
Not
totally.
jinxing.
Yeah. Well, this was a lot of fun, guys. But we're done 2 previews now. Now there's nothing to do but opening day.
I know. I'm
Are we
sad.
excited? Like, what are we gonna watch tomorrow? Like, is there?
The Braves, they're on at 1, if you're wondering.
I'm definitely gonna be watching that.
I'm going to have my 3 monitors up watching every single game possible. So that's
Yeah, this
right.
is gonna be insane. Like, I'm already stressing out about the amount of work I'm gonna have to do during the day with getting this, getting that. Yep.
We should
DeGrom pitching.
we should keep doing this throughout the regular season though.
Yes.
Absolutely. This is
Yeah.
fun.
Yep.
I'm down.
Yep. Same. All right. Well, I think that does it for our NL preview, right, guys? Are we good?
Yeah,
We
we
are
killed
good.
it. Like,
We
I don't
killed
care
it.
again what anybody said. We killed it.
Well,
Yeah.
everyone, enjoy opening day. Thank you for hanging out with myself and Allie and Pitching Ninja for an AL and NL preview. We're going to do stuff throughout the regular season. It'll be a lot of fun. Come back and hang out with us throughout the year on FanDuel and Twitch and YouTube, wherever it might be. But for now, enjoy opening day, everyone. I hope everyone has a blast. I know I will. And I hope you learned some stuff from us.
Hey, and a shout out to Ben here for controlling all this like
Yes.
gadgetry.
Ben.
Like not only doing this stuff, but like you're the maestro behind this.
Yes.
He had the odds up. He was running everything.
Like holy crap!
It hasn't been. It
Now he
hasn't,
froze.
Knowledge.
Did
It
he freeze
hasn't
for
been
you?
easy, but
He froze for me. He doesn't.
can you guys
okay.
hear me?
Whatever. We can hear you.
So here,
Yes,
it's
you just
it's
look like
funny.
this.
Before we finish up, I have to say, so the way you guys can see me, because I'm still visible on the stream. The way you guys can see me, I have my laptop in front of me because you guys are seeing me through a different way, and I saw my battery percentage ticking down, and it was gonna be perfect. And then Rob started going on a tangent about how technologically I've been doing great, and I was like, "Oh no, my camera's gonna go for them." But it's still working out fine for the stream. So thank you,
I
Rob.
suck. Good work, dude.
Good work, everyone. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for listening to our NL preview, and we will be back throughout the regular season with more. So enjoy opening day, everyone. Allie and Rob, enjoy opening day to you guys as well.
Thanks, Ben. You too.
All right.